Assalamualaikum everyone, this is Gulzar Munawwar. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about the Carter's 10 C's of supplier evaluation. The Carter's 10 C's of supplier evaluation is a model for evaluating suppliers that was developed by DPSS Consultants Director Ray Carter. The 10 C's refer to 10 criteria that are to be used to assess the aptness, the potential of a supplier. Carter first proposed this model in an article published in Journal of Purchasing and Supply Management in 1995. Originally, he proposed 7 criteria for evaluating suppliers. He later added 3 more criteria to his model, resulting in the 10 C's. It's good to know that Carter 10 C's are not just a checklist, instead, they are a model that allow you to perform a comprehensive evaluation of potential suppliers. So let's take a deeper look into each of the 10 C's of suppliers evaluation given by Carter. So starting with the competency, the first criteria of evaluating a supplier is to check their level of competence. Here you will need to thoroughly assess the capabilities of a supplier compared to the needs of your organization. Does the supplier have people with the right skills to provide what you need? Do they have the right equipment to provide what you need? Here, it is quite easy for a supplier to misrepresent their competence and falsely claim that they have a capability to meet your organization's need. Therefore, you should not take their word at face value. Instead, you should look for hard evidence to prove that they are actually competent. A good way to do this is to talk to other customers who have worked with the supplier. How was their experience? How happy and satisfied were they with the service provided by the supplier? Did they encounter any challenges working with the supplier? Are there clients who have dropped this supplier or moved to another? If yes, why did they move from the supplier? To ensure that the information you are gathering is relevant to your organization, you should look for previous customers who have needs and values that are very much similar to those of your organization. So the competency factor is very important for supplier evaluation. Next one we have is the capacity. A supplier might have the competence to provide you with what you need, but do they have enough capacity to meet your requirements? Therefore, during your evaluation, talk to the supplier and understand their production or supply capacity, as well as how they plan to deal with fluctuation in supply or demand. For example, if your organization needs 10,000 units of product every month, but the supplier can only produce 7,000 units in a month, then they do not have enough capacity to meet your need. Even if the supplier is capable of producing the 10,000 units you need every month, what happens if you need 30,000 units in a month due to change in demand? Do they have the ability to handle such fluctuation in demand? How quickly can they respond to such fluctuations? When evaluating a supplier's capacity to meet your requirement, you need to look at the resources. Do they have enough staff to meet your need? Do they have enough material, equipment, and storage? Ideally, you should go for a supplier whose capacity is way beyond your requirement. Remember, you are not their only client, and their commitment to other clients could have an impact on their ability to meet your organization's need. For example, let's assume that you need 10,000 units of a product in a month, and the client has capacity to produce 15,000 units of the product in a month. On the surface, it seems like the client has enough capacity. However, let's say they have two other clients who need 3,000 and 2,000 units of the same product in a month. This means that in the event your demand increases, they would not be able to meet your requirement. You need to take such matter into account before pre-qualifying a supplier. So the capacity has very much importance while selecting the supplier. Next one we have is the commitment to quality. Quality is very important thing you need to consider when procuring products or services when you're purchasing the product or services. A good supplier needs to be committed to providing high quality products as well as maintaining a high quality of services and performance. Once again, when evaluating a potential supplier for commitment, Don't just take their word for it. Instead, look for evidence that support their commitment to maintaining high quality standards such as Six Sigma or ISO 9001 certification. Aside from their commitment to quality, you also need the supplier to demonstrate that they will remain committed to you for the entire duration during which you hope to work together. This is especially important if you intend to maintain a long term relationship with the supplier. A good way to evaluate the commitment of the supplier is to talk to other customers who have had long term relationships with the suppliers. The commitment to quality is another very important factor for selecting the supplier. Next one is control of key processes. A good supplier need to have a high level of control over their procedures, processes, policies and supply chain. Their level of control determines their ability to deliver products and services reliably and consistently. This is especially important in situations where the supplier relies on resources that are under the control of another organization. For example, if suppliers outsources some of their function of to another organization, how will they ensure that this organization handles this function reliably? When evaluating the level of control a supplier has, it is also important to take into account a supplier's ability to remain reliable and consistent in case things would not go according to plan. Do they have in place strategies and mechanisms to mitigate and manage risk? For example, the government might pass new laws affecting how you produce your products or how the supplier produces their products. Will the supplier be able to handle such changes or will you be forced to find another supplier? Ideally, you want a supplier who is capable of handling such changes with minimal negative impact to your organization. So, the control of key processes is very important when you are going to select a supplier for your organization. The next one we have is the financial strength of the supplier, that is cash. A good supplier should also be financially strong with sufficient financial reserves. In most cases, businesses expect suppliers to deliver required item on a regular basis, but then payments are usually made after a pre-specified duration, such as after 30 days, after 60 days or 90 days. Does the supplier have enough working capital to continue supplying your organization till the next payment, or will they be able to continue supplying if a payment is held for 60 or 90 days? It is also good to note that the economy is full of ups and downs. Choosing a financially strong supplier means that you can continue to rely on them even during periods of economic turmoil. If your chosen supplier is financially overextended, they would not be able to meet your requirements during an economic downturn, which means you will be forced to start looking for another supplier if trouble hits. So, the cash factor is very important while selecting the supplier. Another very important factor is the cost. When it comes to evaluating a supplier, cost is quite important. It is actually one of the most popular criteria for evaluating potential suppliers. One of your responsibilities as a procurement executive is to save your organization money, and understandably, you do not want to overpay for products or services. It is therefore important to compare the cost of procuring products or services from this supplier compared to other suppliers. If the cost is excessively high, you might want to consider another supplier. If the cost is too low, you might be getting a raw deal somewhere else. While cost is an important aspect of supplier evaluation, you should never look at cost in isolation. The suitability of a supplier's cost depends on other factors such as the supplier's commitment to quality, the level of control, or their financial health. If low cost means getting low quality products or services, it is far much better to go with a more expensive supplier who delivers high quality products and services. Similarly, low cost is of no use if it means consistently delayed delivery or if means you have to work with a supplier with poor financial health. This is why cost is placed at the middle of the Carter's 10 C's rather than at the top, because it is dependent on other factors. Relying on cost alone cloud lead to disastrous result. So the cost is very important when you're gonna fix the price of your product. So you should know the cost, and you should make the cost effective supplier available for your organization. The next very important C is the consistency. Imagine a supplier who supplies a very high level of service one day, provides a poor level of service with the next order, and then revert to the high level of service with the third order. Would you want to use such a supplier? Probably not, because you don't know what to expect with them. In other words, they lack consistency. A good supplier need to be able to deliver high quality goods and services and a high level of performance, not just occasionally but consistently. Of course, it is not possible for a supplier to be perfect all the time. However, they need to have in place measures, procedures, and strategies to ensure consistency. In addition to checking the measures they have in place to ensure consistency, you should also check that they have a strong track record. If possible, you should also request for a test product or a demonstration. So this is very important. So important when you select the supplier. The next criteria is clean. That refers to the supplier's compliance with environmental regulations and best practices, as well as their commitment to sustainability. Does the supplier make any effort to maintain compliance with environmental regulations? What is supplier's environmental footprint? Do they have a sustainability policy? Have they won any green credentials? Is the supplier known for ethical business practices? Are they committed to corporate social responsibility? How does the supplier treat its employees? At a time when clients and investors are drawn to businesses that show a commitment to sustainability and ethical business, you don't want your organization to gain a bad reputation for working with suppliers that do not value sustainability and ethical business practices. So it is very important to keep in mind the clean criteria of the Carter's 10 C's. The last two criterias are culture and communication. Starting with the culture and relationships, if you want good business relationships with your suppliers, you should go for supplier who have workplace values that are aligned with those of your organization. Having similar values means that the both of you will be focused on the same things, and therefore they are unlikely to disappoint you or lead to unwanted tensions. For example, if the most important value in your organization is quality, while the most important value of your supplier is on time delivery, this means that they might sometimes compromise on quality in order to meet deadlines, which is not something you want. To ensure you have the same values, you should take a look at the supplier's corporate culture and check whether it is aligned with that of your organization. For example, you can check if the supplier has received an industry recognition or awards due to their cultural excellence, so that you can meet both supplier and your organization alignments. So it's very important to have the same culture and relationships to make more effective deals with each other. And the last we have is the communication. Communication is a very important part of the client and supplier relationship. You need to have a clear idea if the supplier's communication practices are aligned with those of your organization, and that you will be able to quickly reach the supplier if need be. When evaluating a supplier for communication, there are several things you need to look at. First, you need to determine how the supplier intend to keep in touch with you. Like for example, you use the ERP software to manage the business, so your supplier should know about the ERP. He should have know-how about the ERP to make good communication, to make a relevant communication with you through ERP. You also need to find out who you contact with, and your contact person is who with the supplier. Having a designated contact person means you have one person who is on top of all your transaction with the supplier, rather than being thrown from one person to the next with every transaction and every piece of communication. Finally, you also need to find out how communication will be handled in case things do not go according to plan. For example, if supply is disrupted, how will the supplier notify you of this disruption? How quickly will the supplier notify you about the disruption? If you need to escalate the problem, how easy is it for you to get in touch with senior people at the firm? Generally, the easier and more convenient it is to communicate with a supplier, the more likely you are to have an easy time dealing with the supplier. After all, you don't want to deal with the headache of trying to reach a non responsive supplier when they have already bossed an order. So, the Carter's 10 C's of supplier evaluation is a great way of improving your organization's supply chain management. It provides you with a reliable method of assessing potential suppliers based on areas that are important to your organization. So, I hope that you get how the Carter's 10 C's can be used while selecting a very effective supplier. So if you have any question, you can comment below, and thank you so much for watching this video. Allah Hafiz.